we are here with Ian Michael Crumm, celebrity esthetician and skin health educator. Hi, Ian.
Tatiana, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. You are in our latest issue of New Beauty magazine, and you're here to talk to us about your liposuction procedure. There are so many men that are seeking cosmetic treatments today, more so than ever. So, can you tell me a little bit about why you underwent liposuction and what you were looking to address?
In high school, I was pretty thin. I feel like I've always just had a little extra something in my midsection. Um, and when I was in college, I actually underwent cold therapy treatment to do a little fat removal, which ended up leaving a divot under my belly button because it worked. And where they overlapped the device, I had like a concave divot. So I had that for many years, and then it started to bug me because I was like, oh, now it's uneven. And I went and started trying heat-based non-invasive treatments like sculpture and vanquish and some of the other ones. And I definitely saw changes and like them, adjusting and doing what they're supposed to do. So after about 6 years of thinking about it and trying to address the concave divot in my stomach, I did a consult with Dr. Ira Savetsky and was so confident and comfortable with him, and just kind of was like, it's time to finally do this.
And so you had a procedure, it was a non-surgical procedure, and unfortunately you had that side effect. What made you choose Dr. Savetsky and what made you choose the specific type of liposuction that he performed?
So I'm kind of a person that goes off of like gut feeling. I obviously did my research. Dr. Savetsky was referred through a friend. And when I did the consult, I felt just very comfortable with him. I've heard horror stories of people going and for consults and, the doctor spent 10 minutes with them and didn't answer a bunch of questions that they wanted to ask. And, Dr. Sabetsky was very patient and just wanted to make sure I was completely comfortable with all my questions and making sure I knew what I was getting myself into. So that was amazing. And I kind of go off this gut feeling. So I was actually planning on after my consult, I was thinking I was going to do it like 4 months from the consult, and I booked it a month from my consult. I was like, I'm ready to go.
You're ready.
You know, I was so excited and felt really comfortable. And I also really respect Dr. Sabetsky's like very polished on social. It's just, before and afters and kind of speaking through it, not documenting it like live in surgery. So I ended up sharing which I know I shared my experience on social and collaborated with you guys, but I wanted to do it in a way that showed what happened, but wasn't like too graphic, so it didn't turn people away at the same time.
And your type of liposuction is considered high definition liposuction, so you're getting that sculpted look. So what was your procedure like?
Yeah, so he did VASER Liposuction, which I know we're gonna bring him in and let him talk about kind of the ins and outs of what he did on me, but I definitely wanted like my midsection to be reshaped. So he took out, well, I'll let him speak to that officially, but I think about 5 liters. And we did my chest, a little of my chest, and then stomach, flanks, and back. So lipo 360. And in terms of what it was like, I was, under general anesthesia. So I basically went under and then woke up and the surgery was over. And I was like intensely sore for about a week. I did have drains for the first 4 days to help with speed healing. The first couple days, I booked a traveling nurse to come to my apartment because I know I can get a little queasy at times. And I'm like, I don't want to have to, because I had I had two drains. I had one in my front and one in my back above my butt. And I didn't, I didn't want that to like, you know, I didn't want to like feel weird cleaning that myself. So
Right,
I
right.
booked a nurse just knowing how I am, and that was so nice too, having like a professional come and just make sure everything like would look
Yeah.
great. So all weekend I just was resting, and then that next week it was, kind of Kind of normal, not fully. I did wear the faja, the compression garment for 6 weeks. When I first got out of surgery, or like, they wake up and you're in it, like after surgery.
Yeah.
And I was in the size medium from the brand I was wearing. And after the 6 week, by the end of the 6 weeks, I had downsized 2 sizes to an extra small and added lipofoam. So I was wearing lipofoam in the front to make the compression even, so I didn't get like weird lumping.
Right.
So yeah, it was quite the experience, and lots of lymphatic massage. Went for, I think, in total 18 since my surgery. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been very diligent with lymphatic massage. You got to help move the fluids out and help your body heal. And I definitely could tell that the lymphatic massage was really helping my body speed with recovery and get back to normal.
One of the funnest things about liposuction, I think, is just watching your results sort of develop over time. It's a little bit of a slow process, but you are getting more and more svelte. So tell me what that was like. When did you really start to see your results develop?
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, the Monday after I took the garment off, I could already tell. I mean, I was very swollen still. Of 4 days after surgery, when I came to Dr. Savetsky's office on the Monday after surgery, I had the drains removed, and then we took the vest off for the first time to see how everything was looking. And I mean, I was swollen for sure, but I could already see like the shape of my midsection was different. I'm just past 5 months after surgery. I feel like it's drastically different. They've been saying, 6 months is really when you're going to feel like, okay, it's really at the mark, and then up to a year of additional changes. But I think after a month, I was like really noticing it. And it's just been kind of a gradual but fast also change from month 1 to 5.
Tell me how you feel because we watched online as you revealed your results.
I feel great. My clothes are fitting different. I mean, I'm pretty much in similar size clothes. I've downsized my shirt. I've also been working out more than I had been. So I feel like my whole body's having a body recomposition right now. But yeah, like I've been trying on swimsuits that I wore like 5 years ago. And now I'm like, oh, wow, like they fit again and they fit different. And, this whole summer, I had my surgery in May. So this whole summer, I've been very low key. But next summer, I'll be ready for the pool and wearing a nice bathing suit for swimming. I love to swim, so I'm excited for some fun pool days with that. And yeah, I mean, it's just been awesome. Like the other day, I was going through clothes I've had, and I found this jacket I bought in high school, and it's like this really cool gray gunmetal leather like fall jacket, and hadn't worn it for many, many years. And now after surgery, I'm like, it fits the midsection right. And it's, since I've been lifting, the top's getting a little tight, but I'm like, I can still wear it. Like, cool. So, yeah, I feel great. And
You
I'm,
look great.
thank you.
You look great. And is there any advice that you have for anyone who's thinking about having liposuction or maybe they've never considered it?
There's definitely a few things that I'm like, okay, get your lymphatic massages. Like, don't try to work out too fast. You got to make sure you're eating a lot of protein. But do it if it's something you want to do it for you. Don't do it for someone else, and do your research. And I'd say my last tip is like, don't be afraid to ask for help too. I had the nurses that came and helped, and I had friends like come over to make sure I was visiting. I made like a little schedule of like who was coming when before my surgery. So I made sure I was like good for the first couple of days just in case. Ask your friends too, whether it's for help post surgery or do you think I should work with this doctor. I'm happy I did it, but at the end of the day, it is a medical procedure. So, you have
Right.
to do your research, feel confident, and then go into the surgery with as calm of a mind as possible with um, with a positive mindset.
And then do your results exceed your expectations?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You look amazing.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's talk to Dr. Ira and hear about his technique. Hi, doctor. How are you?
Good. Hi.
Thank you for talking to New Beauty. And we have celebrity esthetician Ian Michael Crumm with us. You did an amazing job on his procedure. So we just wanted to get some information on his liposuction procedure and liposuction in general. So are you seeing a lot more men coming in right now for cosmetic treatment?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for having me. Men are people too. Okay. I know we get overshadowed by the strong women in our lives, but I see more and more men coming in seeking aesthetic treatments, whether it be non-invasive like neurotoxin, like Botox, or surgical procedures. And I think a lot of it is they understand that you can get these treatments without changing your look. And I think it's really important when you're doing cosmetic surgery or treatments on men, you want to make sure you want to retain their masculinity, you want to retain their look, and you don't want to overdo anything. So I think men are feeling comfortable with the idea that they could be refreshed without changing their look.
Well, you did an incredible job with Ian's liposuction, and he was explaining that it's VASER Liposuction 360. So, what is the difference between traditional liposuction and the type of liposuction that you performed on Ian?
So laser liposuction is just a device that is used that emits energy. And the whole concept with it is that VASER, what it does is it uses energy to help separate the fat from the surrounding tissues. And I find it to be really helpful in men or in revision cases where the tissues are much thicker. There is some evidence that there is some tightening effect from it, but I like it because it really just helps separate the fat from the surrounding tissues and gives a smoother appearance. There are other devices that act similarly, but essentially that's the purpose of VASER. With regards to the 360, that's just a terminology that we use to describe the truncal area, 360
Okay.
degrees. So, which I do in nearly everyone that's doing liposuction in the lower part, because to really get that full shape and contour, smooth look, you gotta kind of hit all those areas.
Where do you make the incision? Because Ian mentioned having, a little bit of the top also lipoed. So where do you make your incisions for that?
So you always want to put it in a place that's not going to be visible when you're wearing a bathing suit or in your underwear. So typically it's down in the groin area and sometimes in the belly button as well. And in men, I'll sometimes go through the nipple, the pigmented area to sort of really target the upper abdomen because otherwise it's a little bit hard to get this part from just the belly button, which is what we did. Yes. Yeah.
And you get that more uniform result when you are also addressing the chest.
Exactly. A lot of times if you're minimizing, doing one incision or two little, these are tiny incisions. These are like the size of a pencil eraser. So these are very tiny. It's very minimal. And it's the more areas you can access the fat from, the better your result is going to be.
Perfect. And what made Ian a great candidate for this procedure?
So first of all, you need to be someone who's healthy. You need to not smoke. You need to not have significant comorbidities. And you also have to be someone who's dedicated to your overall health and well-being in terms of their nutrition and exercise, because this is not sort of the end of your journey. It's sometimes the beginning. Liposuction is really meant for people who are in good shape with sort of stubborn or problem areas. And I think it's really important for the patient to be dedicated to sort of the whole journey from beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, it's not to lose weight, it's to shape.
Exactly. It's really shaping. And patients ask me all the time, um, how many pounds am I going to lose on the scale? And to their disappointment, I say, the number is really not going to change. But what will change is the shape of your body and maybe how you fit into certain clothing.
It's confusing because some people do liposuction under twilight sedation and some people go under general anesthesia. Do you have advice for followers on that?
Yeah, so I've done both, and I would say that for me, my preference is to have some element of anesthesia. I find that it's more comfortable for the patient, and I find that I can be a little bit more aggressive if the patient is comfortable. So there are some people who tolerate pure local anesthetic, and that's great, but there are some that are sort of in the middle, and there's some that really can't tolerate it at all. So it's my preference, assuming they're healthy, and they could undergo anesthesia, then I find that to be the best for me.
And finally, what advice do you have for someone who's considering body contouring or liposuction?
So if you're thinking about it, just go do some research, go make a consult and see someone about it, because sometimes the idea of doing something like that seems scarier than actually doing it. And just get more information, seek it out, and talk to some friends. You'd be surprised. A lot of people undergo it and don't necessarily talk about it.
I said earlier, I was like, so many people told me their lipo after I said I was getting it. Like, I'm the only one sharing it.
Yeah.
It's
So
true. It's true. Not
Then you know.
a lot of people are as transparent as you are. So I want to thank you for being transparent and for bringing your story to New Beauty. And we've covered it in the magazine, we've written about it on the website, and now we're doing this video. So really, thank you so much for sharing your story with me.
Thank you, Tatiana. Yeah, it's not a secret, guys.
No, it's not a secret. And thank you, Dr. Ira.
thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you both.